Kentucky Electric Cooperatives, on behalf of our 26 member co-ops and the 1.8 million electric cooperative members in Kentucky, are proud to welcome you to the 2024 Kentucky Living Best in Kentucky Awards. We celebrate the people, places, hometown favorites, and events in our cooperative communities and all across Kentucky. The 15th Annual Kentucky Living Best in Kentucky Awards are presented by Katie's Trigg County Tourism with help from personalities and Kentucky favorites from all across the Commonwealth. In this hour, we'll announce how Kentucky Living readers voted in 30 Best in Kentucky categories covering the great outdoors, destinations, entertainment, and eats and drinks. You can see all the winners in the September issue of Kentucky Living, the largest by circulation publication in all of Kentucky. But now, returning for her 7th consecutive year hosting Kentucky Living's Best in Kentucky Awards show, Miss America 2000 and our friend Heather French Henry.
Welcome to Kentucky Living's Best in Kentucky Awards. Every month and for more than 75 years, Kentucky's electric cooperatives celebrates the energy of Kentucky, tourism, recipes, gardening, home improvement, the people who make Kentucky a great place to live. Thanks to our 2024 sponsor, Katie's Trigg County Tourism. Please be sure to follow Kentucky Living on Facebook and Twitter, where you can share updates from today's show with the hashtag Best in Kentucky. Every month, Kentucky Living and KentuckyLiving.com's writers and photographers show how destinations across the Commonwealth are worth the trip. Kentucky Living partners with tourism agencies and commissions across the state, so it's always fitting for Kentucky Department of Tourism Commissioner Mike Manget to present the first award. Mike, take it away.
Thanks, Heather. It's always a great day to celebrate the best in Kentucky, and we appreciate Kentucky Living doing that every month. Did you know that 2023 marked a new record year for Kentucky tourism, with $13.8 billion generated in economic impact and supporting more than 95,000 jobs? Clearly, tourism remains a key piece of the Commonwealth's booming economy. But let's get started with the Best in Kentucky Awards and the winners in the category of road trip. In third place, Hatfields and McCoy's Historic Feud Sites Driving Tour, Pikeville. Second place, Red River Gorge Geological Area, Stanton. And in first place, the Heaven Hill Bourbon Experience, Bardstown. Heaven Hill has played an instrumental role in establishing Kentucky as a top tourist destination. The Heaven Hill Bourbon Experience is a leading showcase of bourbon tourism grounded in educational, interactive exhibits. Visitors can see, taste, and learn about America's native spirit in a new way. As you make plans to travel across the state, check out the events listings in Kentucky Living magazine and KentuckyLiving.com. Enjoy our state parks, national parks, adventure tourism, culinary and music scenes, the world's best horses and bourbon, and so much more. Heather, back to you.
Thanks, Mike. Well, youngsters across Kentucky know Kelsey Starks as host of the educational current events show News Quiz on KET. And now we congratulate Kelsey on her 1-year anniversary, also hosting and producing Inside Louisville on KET. Congratulations, Kelsey.
Well, thank you, Heather. What a treat to bring Kentucky together. As Commissioner Manget mentioned, Kentuckians consult Kentucky Living and KentuckyLiving.com for travel ideas, including where children can go for fun and educational experiences. Kentucky Living readers have voted these 3 winners as the best kid-friendly attractions in Kentucky. Coming in third place, Newport Aquarium in Newport. In second place, Kentucky Down Under Adventure Zoo in Horse Cave. And in first place, the Louisville Zoo in Louisville. The Louisville Zoo is the top nonprofit paid attraction in the state. In addition to all of the human visitors, the zoo has welcomed several high-profile residents within the last year, including 2 red pandas, 2 koalas, and a second polar bear. It's always fun to bring KET's News Quiz to Kentucky Living's Best in Kentucky. So we have 3 News Quiz questions for you this year. Question number 1. Coal was named Kentucky's state mineral in 1998, but a new law passed this year replaces coal with calcite as the new state mineral. Coal is now the official state what? Question 2. Kentucky became the 15th U.S. state in 1792 and today has 120 counties. The last county to be established was McCreary County in southeastern Kentucky. In what year was McCreary County officially developed? And question 3. Kentucky Living has the highest circulation of any publication in Kentucky. To how many households is a copy of Kentucky Living mailed in an average month? I'll be back a little bit later in the show with those answers. Heather?
How fun! Well, we'll check back with Kelsey a little later for the answers. Now let's go to Lexington and LEX 18 Studios. Hey guys!
Hi Heather, we know that the weather forecast is especially important to those who spend a lot of time in the great outdoors. So here's a tip of the fishing cap as we announce where Kentucky Living readers say are the best public hunting and fishing areas in Kentucky. In third place, Cave Run Lake in Moorhead. In second place, land between the Lakes National Recreation Area in Golden Pond. First place, Green River Lake State Park in Campbellsville. Over 29,000 acres of wildland managed for fish and wildlife bring the avid outdoor enthusiasts to Green River Lake. Hunting opportunities are plentiful and irresistible fishing spots, from bank fishing to public fishing piers, are all found around this tranquil lake. Now don't forget, before you head out, check the forecast, make sure you have the proper gear, including a life jacket, and of course, stay safe. Heather, we'll send it back to you.
For 4 consecutive years, the Kentucky Broadcasters Association has awarded Brian Walker and Trisha Caudill the best morning show in Kentucky. They joined Kentucky Living's Best in Kentucky Awards from the Quixie Radio Studios. Hello, E-Town.
Hello, Kentucky, and thanks, Heather. You learn a lot about a community on morning radio, from news and events to fun stories with friends and family.
But in morning radio, we especially love food. Heather, last year we announced the food truck category. This year, where Kentucky Living readers say are the best in Kentucky coffee shop.
Third place, the Black Goose, Union.
Second place, Hardin Coffee, Campbellsville.
At first place, Vibe Coffee, Elizabethtown and Hodgenville.
Serious coffee vibes with beans from local roasters, plus a breakfast and lunch menu with a big city appeal and small town charm and service.
Espresso-based lattes, fruit smoothies, steeped organic teas, hot cocoa, steamers, house-baked pastries, waffles, bagels, paninis, and a large variety of toasts. And Vibe's amazing acai bowls.
We lift our coffee mugs to all Best in Kentucky winners, thanks to Kentucky Living and the electric cooperatives who make Best in Kentucky possible, including our local co-op, Nolan RECC.
Heather, back to you.
We go from radio studios in Elizabethtown to television studios in Bowling Green. Morgan Hoover has been anchoring the news at News 40 for 4 years. She is back for her second year on Kentucky Living's Best in Kentucky. Hi, Morgan.
Hey there, Heather, and greetings from Bowling Green. We appreciate how Kentucky Living spotlights the many places to visit across the Commonwealth, including the many places in our viewing area. Here are the 2024 Best in Kentucky winners in the category of hiking trail. Third place, Red River Gorge Geological Area, Stanton. Second place, Bernheim Arboretum and Research Forest, Clermont. And in first place, Mammoth Cave National Park, Mammoth Cave. The world knows about the 400-mile underground map of Mammoth Cave National Park, but did you know the park's above-ground hiking trails include easy-to-access adventures on the south side of the Green River and scenic treks around the visitor center? Enjoy river views and ridge tops, see sinkholes, cemeteries, and rugged backcountry hikes that have beckoned explorers for centuries. We are pleased to support Kentucky Living's Best in Kentucky and shout out to our local electric co-ops, including Warren RECC, Farmers RECC, Tri-County EMC, Penny Ryle Electric, Taylor County RECC, and Nolan. Heather, back to you.
Thanks, Morgan. Much of Kentucky relies on the co-ops for reliable and at-cost electric service, and those co-ops pay special attention to the talented meteorologists who are tracking the ever-changing weather. Here is who Kentucky Living readers voted as best in Kentucky. Third place, Jude Redfield, WDRB, Louisville. Second place, Kevin Harned, Wave 3, Louisville. And first place, Mark Weinberg, WDRB, Louisville. For 20 years now, Mark Weinberg has been updating WDRB viewers and passionately tracking severe weather. Congratulations, Chief Meteorologist Mark Weinberg. Let's hope for sunny skies and a cool breeze. When Mark Weinberg started at WDRB, Terry Miners had already been on the radio in Kentucky for 28 years, most of that time at WHAS Radio in Louisville, where Terry recently signed a contract extension through 2029. You know, Miners, you can never really retire.
Come on, Heather, you know I'm never going to retire. You and your husband Steve will say, "Hey, Miners, come over and pull weeds out of our yard," because I'll be bored on like day 3. So yeah, I'm staying at my job as long as I can. Kentuckians love live music. Doesn't matter if it's coming from an arena or a concert hall or an outdoor amphitheater. We just love all the different venues that we offer. Kentucky Living readers voted just like this for their favorites. Third place, Paramount Art Center, Ashland. Second place, the Amp at Log Still, New Haven. And first place, Joel Ray's Lincoln Jamboree in Hodgenville. Talk about a Kentucky original. Next door to Abraham Lincoln's birthplace, Joel Ray's Lincoln Jamboree is a family-friendly music and dining venue filled with memorabilia from country music stars. This year, the Jamboree celebrates 70 years in show business. Rocking the rafters in the place, Kentucky country music singer Patty Loveless earned her very first paycheck. I think it was like $5 back in 1971. Traditional country, bluegrass, and gospel music begin every Saturday night at 6:45. And Heather, you've sung in front of international audiences. They've seen you all around the world. When are you going to sing at the Jamboree? Oh!
Well, all they have to do is ask. When we celebrated Kentucky Living's 75th anniversary last year, we mentioned that our friends at WKYT-TV in Lexington were about to celebrate 2 big anniversaries this year. Congratulations to Amber Philpott on her 20 years at WKYT and 40 years after Bill Bryant started his summer internship at WKYT. He's still going strong. Congratulations to both of you.
Thanks, Heather. When you love a state and a community, it's an honor to do what we do.
We appreciate the co-op commitment to community. My hometown in Cynthiana is served by Bluegrass Energy, and Bill grew up in Whitley County, where Cumberland Valley RECC is home.
Our Kentucky Living Best in Kentucky category this year is barbecue.
All right, third place, Red Point Barbecue, Campton.
Second place, Arrowhead Barbecue, Hodgenville.
And first place, Brothers, Campbellsville.
With no regional barbecue tradition in central Kentucky, Brothers employs an experimental approach, blending Kansas City-style sauce and ribs, Texas-style brisket, and eastern North Carolina-inspired pulled pork to create their award-winning fusion.
In a beautiful historic building on Main Street, you'll find a variety of smoked meats served as platters and sandwiches, house-made sides and sauces, and hearty and healthy salads.
All sounds good. Congratulations to all Best in Kentucky winners.
And we look forward to seeing all of them in the September issue of Kentucky Living. Heather, back to you.
Thanks, WKYT. Well, this past January's Kentucky Living challenged the Fraser History Museum in Louisville to select 10 objects that represent Kentucky. Check out KentuckyLiving.com and see those items for yourself at the Fraser, where we find Rachel Platt and Andy Trinan for our next awards.
Thanks, Heather. Just as Kentucky Living covers the entire state, we're excited to welcome Kentucky Living readers from all across Kentucky to check out 120 cool Kentucky counties right here at the Fraser History Museum.
Select a county on the touchscreen map for interesting information about each county, video, and a song by a local artist from that county.
Many people come to the Fraser because we are home to the Kentucky Bourbon Trail Welcome Center, and yes, the official starting point of the Kentucky Bourbon Trail.
So what better place to announce the distilleries voted by Kentucky Living readers for Best Distillery Tour?
And here we go. Third place, Boone County Distilling Company, Independence.
Second place, the Evan Williams Bourbon Experience, Louisville.
And first place, Maker's Mark Distillery, Loretto.
Margie Samuels pioneered bourbon tourism in the 1950s, opening the property to family, friends, curious locals, and travelers before formal distillery tours existed.
And today, bourbon tourists can choose from a series of experiences that not only let visitors explore the natural beauty Star Hill Farm has to offer, but also better understand and appreciate nature's influence on that famous product.
And we go now from bourbon to beer. Mark your calendars, folks, for July of 2025 for the 5th annual Summer Beer Fest here at the Fraser.
Kentucky Living readers have voted these Kentucky brews as the best craft beers in 2024.
Third place, Sawstone Brewing, Moorhead.
Second place, West 6 Brewery, Lexington.
And first place, Scout and Scholar Brewing Company, Bardstown, Kentucky.
And we want to give you a little history lesson about this beer haven in a sea of bourbon. Scout and Scholar is named in honor of the two brothers who founded the city of Bardstown.
William Bard was the scout, a surveyor, land agent, and frontiersman who surveyed and laid out Bardstown in 1780.
David Bard was the scholar. He graduated from Princeton and became a Presbyterian minister in Bardstown.
Heather, we raise our Summer Beer Fest glasses to Scout and Scholar and all the craft brewers who call Kentucky home.
Here is to Kentucky Living's best in Kentucky.
Cheers.
Hear, hear. Well, the 15th annual Kentucky Living Best in Kentucky Awards are presented by the Katie's Trigg County Tourism, and we are pleased to welcome a new presenter to this year's awards. He's a fifth-generation farmer and the new Commissioner of Agriculture, Jonathan Schell.
Thanks, Heather. Our mission at the Kentucky Department of Agriculture is to support farm families and ensure that all Kentucky communities from east to west understand the importance of our agriculture industry. I am so grateful to the Kentucky Living and Kentucky's electric cooperatives who help us to tell that story. I'm excited to announce the Best in Kentucky winners for Farm Tourist Attraction. Third place, Gowrine Farms, Shelbyville. Second place, Denison's Roadside Market, Horse Cave. First place, Hinton's Orchard and Farm Market, Hodgenville, Kentucky. You can bring your family to the Hinton's Family Farm for 3 seasons of fun and recreation. Fresh fruits and vegetables, the farmland play area. This fall, take a hayride through the orchard and the pumpkin patch and find your way through a 3-acre corn maze. Thanks to Kentucky Living for spotlighting Kentucky agriculture. And speaking of shining a positive light on Kentucky, I'm excited to hand it over to someone who makes Kentucky very proud on CNN, my friend Scott Jennings. Hey, Scott.
Well, thank you, Commissioner Jonathan Schell, one of Kentucky's greatest public servants. Now, when I'm not in the CNN studios, I often join the network live from right here in the Bluegrass Media Lab in Louisville, Kentucky. Now, before I got into politics and TV, my first love was radio. From WHRZ 97.7 FM in Madisonville to 104.9 WAVJ in Princeton, plus WHAS Radio in Louisville. Now you can check out KentuckyLiving.com for features on some of the great local radio voices across the Commonwealth. Today, I'm pleased to announce the 2024 winners for Best in Kentucky Local Radio Host. In third place, Cale Tharp at WLCB Radio, Abe 93.7 in Hodgenville. In second place, Kelly McKay, WHHT 103.7 Nash in Glasgow. And first place, Larry Smith, WVLC 99.9 in Campbellsville. Listeners to Mornings on Main tune into Larry Smith on WVLC Radio. better known in Campbellsville as 99.9 FM, The Big Dog. From 5 a.m. to 10 each weekday morning. Now that's a shift. Larry keeps the area informed and entertained. Organizers of local events praise Larry for his commitment to community. And his Southern Fried Friday night show brings classic rock and a good time to listeners everywhere. Congratulations, Larry, and thank you to all the local broadcasters who are rooted in our hometowns. That's what Kentucky Living and Kentucky's electric cooperatives are all about. Speaking of great broadcasters, on more than 80 radio stations across the state, Alan Watts shares the message of agriculture, agritourism, and rural Kentucky on the Travelin' the Bluegrass show. Alan Watts, welcome back to Kentucky Living's Best in Kentucky Awards.
Thanks, Scott, and congratulations to Kentucky Living on the 15th annual Best in Kentucky Awards. Here are the winners in the category of Kentucky Musician or Band. Third place, Kenton County native Carly Pierce. Second place, Taylorsville native J.D. Shelburne. And first place, Lawrence County native Tyler Childers. Currently on his extensive, nearly sold-out Mule Pool 24 tour, Grammy-nominated singer, songwriter, and musician Tyler Childers headlined several major festivals this year, including Bourbon and Beyond on September 22nd at the Fairgrounds in Louisville. Congratulations to all the winners, and I'm proud to say that Kentucky Living's 2024 Best in Kentucky Awards are sponsored by Cadiz Trigg County Tourism.
Welcome to Cadiz, the friendliest little town in all of Kentucky, made for families, a natural favorite for groups, and an outdoorsman's dream. Whether you're fishing in Lake Barkley or fishing for a nostalgic antique in one of the award-winning downtown shops, you'll find Cadiz easy to reach. Highway 68 runs right by downtown, only a few miles off I-24. Lake Barkley, not just a draw for hunters and fishermen, but a popular home for conferences and a destination for families. Nearby, Land Between the Lakes National Recreation Area has hundreds of miles of trails tailor-made for hiking, mountain biking, or ATVing. In Cadiz restaurants, locally caught fish, fresh picked vegetables, and farm-raised beef and pork, plus fresh produce and Amish-made jams, jellies, and baked goods at the farmers market. And every October, the two-day Trigg County Country Ham Festival. Experience life naturally in Cadiz and Trigg County, Kentucky.
You are watching Kentucky Living's 15th Annual Best in Kentucky Awards. Here again, Miss America 2000, Heather French Henry.
We appreciate the many media personalities announcing this year's winners. Here is who Kentucky Living readers voted the best local TV personalities. Third place, Lee Cruz, Lexington. Second place, Candace Clift, WDRB Louisville. And first place, Dawn G, Wave 3 Louisville. Well, this month marks the 30th anniversary of Dawn G on Wave TV in Louisville, where she anchors the news, hosts Wave Country with Dawn G, and lends a hand to any worthwhile group that needs help. Dawn, I have a plaque here with your name on it.
Thank you, Heather. I am so very grateful, and I give that love right back to Kentucky. I say thank you a million times. When the Best in Kentucky nominations were announced in May, a friendly competition on social media debated who should win in the category of museum, and I have the order of finish. Third place, Speed Art Museum, Louisville. Second place, Fraser History Museum, Louisville. First place, Lincoln Museum, Hodgenville. In two historic buildings on the square in Hodgenville, his hometown's tribute to Abraham Lincoln offers an immersive walk through Lincoln's life. See room-sized dioramas, life-size wax figures, authentic period pieces, and a gallery of Lincoln-inspired artworks. Let's go now to Lexington. Emmy Award-winning T.G. Shuck has been forecasting the weather on Kentucky TV for nearly 30 years. 2 years ago, he joined ABC 36 in Lexington as chief meteorologist. Hey, T.G., good to see you.
Thank you, Dawn. My best to Louisville and the entire state. Readers rely on Kentucky Living for travel tips, destinations, and some great places to stay. Here are the best in Kentucky winners in the category of specialty lodging or bed and breakfast. Third place goes to Reed Dossey House in Brownsville. Second place goes to Lincoln Lodge in Hodgenville. And first place in specialty lodging or bed and breakfast goes to My Old Kentucky Dome in Mount Washington. Find the perfect stargazing spot at this unique geodesic dome located on a private road and overlooking some of the most gorgeous countryside views Kentucky has to offer. This is glamping surrounded by nature and with comfort amenities like a king-size bed, full bath, a well-stocked kitchenette, and Wi-Fi. Now that's a great way to experience Kentucky. Let's send it back to Kentucky Living and Best in Kentucky host, Heather French-Henry.
Thanks, TG. Well, every month, Kentucky Living's Kentucky Eats column introduces Kentucky Living readers to great local restaurants and their favorite recipes across the state. And Around the Table columnist Heather Bilyeu shares both her own creations and recipes suggested by Kentucky Living readers. Hi, Heather.
In addition to the over 1,000 homegrown recipes available for free each month at KentuckyLiving.com, I'm so excited to invite you, the reader, into my own kitchen to share my recipes, cooking, and entertaining tips. And we appreciate our readers and local restaurants sharing their recipes with us. Here are the Best in Kentucky winners in the category of breakfast place. In third place, the Cafe at Swope Toyota, Elizabethtown. Second place, Carissa's Grocery, Shelbyville. And in first place, Kentucky's finest family-style restaurant, Hodgenville. Located within Joel Ray's Lincoln Jamboree, Kentucky's finest family-style restaurant is famous for its 3-egg omelet breakfast and other morning meal platters, all served with a helping of Kentucky-style hospitality. Be sure to check out my Around the Table column in Kentucky Living magazine, plus recipe videos from my very own kitchen on Kentucky Living's Facebook and YouTube channel. Just look for Heather and Kentucky Living. Heather, they're sure to find one of us.
Great job, Heather. Well, Kentucky Living is the flagship publication of Kentucky Electric Cooperatives, and we're joined now by the president of that statewide electric co-op association, Chris Perry.
Thanks, Heather. Kentucky Electric Cooperatives is made up of all 26 electric cooperatives in the state. We are guided by the cooperative principles, including commitment to community. And that's what Kentucky Living's Best in Kentucky Awards are all about. Celebrating the character and culture of Kentucky, the people, places, history, lifestyle, and the unique characteristics. And that's what Kentucky Living is all about, as our local co-ops communicate important information to better serve their members. With the readership of more than 1 million Kentuckians, we are so pleased to make a difference in the co-op mission to improve the quality of life in the communities we serve. For the 8th consecutive year, we're proud to partner with the Office of the Governor on Beautify the Bluegrass, an initiative that recognizes beautification efforts in hometowns across Kentucky. And now, to announce the finalists for the 2024 Beautify the Bluegrass, here is the 63rd Governor of Kentucky, Andy Beshear.
Thank you, Chris, and thanks to Kentucky Living and Kentucky's electric cooperatives for supporting homegrown beautification efforts across the Commonwealth. Last fall, we got to honor the Beautify the Bluegrass finalists at the Capitol, including the Governor's Award winner, Whitney Lewis, and her Cleaning Up Kentucky efforts. It was great to celebrate such hard-working Kentuckians who've rolled up their sleeves and worked to make our Commonwealth even more beautiful. This year, we are excited to recognize more community projects and the Kentuckians who made them possible. Out of dozens of projects nominated from communities across the Commonwealth, here are the 2024 Beautify the Bluegrass finalists. The Highway 11 welcome sign in Beattyville. The landscaping for the Habitat for Humanity Training Center
in Owensboro, the works of art that bloom in Bellevue, the City of Danville's Downtown Streetscape Project, and the Friends of Red River Trash Cleanups. Learn more about these projects and vote for your favorite before August 28th on KentuckyLiving.com. Congratulations to all these finalists, and thank you to all the volunteers who've worked to improve their communities. Good luck, everybody.
Kentucky Living's Best in Kentucky Hall of Fame honors recipients who have claimed first place in a category 3 consecutive years. Museum, Lincoln Museum, Historic Site, My Old Kentucky Home, and Abraham Lincoln Birthplace National Historical Park. Historical Landmark Museum, Abraham Lincoln Birthplace National Historical Park. Civil War Site, Perryville Battlefield State Historic Site. Iconic Kentucky Landmark, Churchill Downs. Kentucky Musician Band, Jericho Woods. Made in Kentucky Product, Ale 81 Bottling Company. Craft Beer, Kentucky Boy Brewing. Winery, Purple Toad Winery. Distillery, Maker's Mark Distillery. Non-franchise restaurant, the Whistle Stop Restaurant. Barbecue, Moonlight Barbecue Inn. Down Home Restaurant, Lighthouse Restaurant. Sweet Spot, the Sweet Shop and Dessert Cafe. Pizza, Hometown Pizza. Extreme Adventure Sport Location, Red River Gorge Geological Area. Scenic View, Cumberland Falls. Golf Course, General Burnside Island State Park. Public Hunting Fishing Area, Land Between the Lakes National Recreation Area. Camping Spot, Green River Lake at Green River Lake State Park. 3-time Hall of Famer, Lake Cumberland in the categories of Boating Lake or River, Houseboating Lake, and Fishing Spot. Arts and Crafts Fair, Berea Craft Festival. Event or Festival, Lincoln Day Celebration. Car Show Cruise In, Summer Nights Cruise. Farm Tourist Attraction, Hinton's Orchard and Farm Market. Day Trip, Mammoth Cave National Park. Kid-friendly attraction, Louisville Zoo. Kentucky Living's Best in Kentucky Hall of Fame. Kentucky Living's Best in Kentucky Awards are brought to you by Katie's Trigg County Tourism. Now back to Heather French Henry.
Don't forget, the September issue of Kentucky Living is the Best in Kentucky issue, and every issue includes popular columns such as gardening tips in Let's Grow, helpful tips in cutting costs and safety moment, and a monthly trip to the great outdoors with columnist Ken McBroom. Hey, Ken.
Hi, Heather. Did you know that Kentucky has more navigable miles of water than any other state except Alaska? If you enjoy time on the water, Kentucky is the place to be. Here are the 2024 Best in Kentucky winners for water tourism spots. Third place goes to Cave Run Lake, Moorhead, Kentucky. Second place, Lake Cumberland. And first place goes to Green River Lake State Park, Campbellsville, Kentucky. A gorgeous, peaceful, and expansive lake in a forested setting draws visitors to this recreational paradise in the south central part of the state. Play, picnic, and swim at the sandy beach. If you don't own a boat, you can rent one from the marina and fish for bluegill, bass, and catfish. Look for me in Kentucky Living. Now get outside and enjoy the great outdoors.
KET's Kentucky Edition is dedicated to covering the events, issues, and stories happening across the Commonwealth. And Laura Rogers travels the Commonwealth to bring those stories to all of us. Laura, welcome back to Best in Kentucky.
Hey, Heather. Like the stories in Kentucky living, here at KET, I get to share the stories of everyday Kentuckians doing extraordinary things. It's a sweet assignment, and today I get to announce the Best in Kentucky winner in the category of Sweets Shop. Third place, Muth's Candies, Louisville. Second place, Serendipity Candy Kitchen, Shelbyville. First place, the Sweet Shop and Dessert Cafe, Hodgenville. Owned and operated by the Durham family, the Sweet Shop and Dessert Cafe makes more than 30 flavors of homemade gourmet fudge from a secret recipe and double boiler kettles. Stop by and see them on the square in downtown Hodgenville or at festivals across the state, including the Kentucky State Fair. And speaking of sweet assignments, at WLKY-TV in Louisville, Kent Taylor has covered every major sporting event in his hometown, including the Kentucky Derby, Final Four, PGA Championship, Senior PGA Championship, and the Ryder Cup. And he is making his Kentucky Living Best in Kentucky debut. Hi, Kent.
And can you believe they pay me for this? Thank you, Laura, and what a treat it is to be a part of the statewide celebration of the best in Kentucky. And here are who Kentucky Living readers voted for Best Athlete. Third place, UK freshman quarterback Cutter Boley via Hodgenville and Lexington. Also at Lexington Christian High School, he put up monster numbers. Second place, PGA champion golfer Justin Thomas of Louisville, the St. X grad, a top 10 finish in the PGA Championship at Valhalla Golf Club in May. And first place, Reed Shepard of London, Kentucky. Boy, let me tell you something. I saw him in high school, and all he did was win. He could take 4 guys and beat any 5 guys you could pick because he's just that good. His dynamic play this past season at the University of Kentucky earned him Freshman of the Year honors from the National Association of Basketball Coaches, U.S. Basketball Writers Association, the Field of 68, and the Southeastern Conference. Dick Vitale's Diaper Dandy of the Year is now a Houston Rocket, the 3rd overall pick in the NBA draft. And then he tore it up in the NBA Summer League for the Houston Rockets. Believe me, he will have a fantastic NBA career. Reed Shepard, our winner for Athlete of the Year. Last year, Reed won 3rd place, the 3rd best athlete in the state of Kentucky. Now he's number 1, just like the one and only Heather French Henry. Heather, back to you.
Reed Shepard isn't the only one who starred in Lexington this past year. Marvin Bartlett and Andrea Walker at Fox 56 in Lexington are also at the top of their game. Hello, Fox 56.
Hi, Heather. One of the great things about Kentucky's hometowns is you can find an event or festival happening somewhere every week of the year.
The September Best in Kentucky issue of Kentucky Living magazine also includes a comprehensive festivals map in mailboxes in just a couple of weeks.
Here are the Best in Kentucky winners for event or festival.
Third place, Manchester Music Fest, Manchester.
Second place, Lincoln Days Celebration, Hodgenville.
And first place, Marion County Country Ham Days, Lebanon. What started with 6 hams and a few volunteers 55 years ago now boasts thousands of pounds of country ham, and that's just what's served at the Country Ham Breakfast, and hundreds of volunteers.
Marion County Country Ham Days welcomes more than 30,000 visitors on the last full weekend in September, highlighted by the Pokey Pig 5K Run Walk, Pegasus Parade, a car, truck, and motorcycle show, hot air balloons, and all the fun of a carnival.
Heather, you might say they are bringing home the bacon. Back to you. What a lineup! Well, from the Fox 56 studios in Lexington, let's go to the WPSD Local 6 studios in Paducah, where the morning team's Mike Mallory and Blaine McDonald are standing by.
Thanks, Heather. We are excited to be back and representing Western Kentucky. Members of Jackson Purchase Energy and West Kentucky RECC are our viewers and Kentucky Living readers here.
It's my first time on the Best in Kentucky Awards, and we have the winery category. Of the more than 65 wineries all across the Commonwealth, here is how Kentucky Living readers voted. Third place, Baker Bird Winery and Distillery, Augusta.
Second place, McIntyre and Family Winery, Bardstown.
And first place, Purple Toad Winery, Paducah.
From humble beginnings 15 years ago, Purple Toad continues to put Paducah on the map and has become one of Kentucky's largest and most award-winning wineries.
A wide selection of wines is crafted combining modern wine-making techniques with old-world knowledge, including sweet Paducah Harbor.
And Purple Toad is growing. A second tasting room is slated to open in Bowling Green this fall.
Heather, let us know the next time you're in the neighborhood and we will pop a cork. Back to you.
That's a deal. Well, our next presenter has reasons to pop a few corks. Since last year's Best in Kentucky Awards, Ryan Quarles has been named president of the Kentucky Community and Technical College System, leading the system of 16 community and technical colleges and 70 campuses. Congratulations, Ryan.
Thanks, Heather, and it's great to be back with my friends from Kentucky Living and Kentucky Electric Cooperatives. We share a passion for improving the quality of life across our Commonwealth. I am pleased today to announce the Best in Kentucky winners in the category of Historic Attraction. In third place, Loretta Lynn Home Place, Van Leer, Kentucky. In second place, My Old Kentucky Home State Park, Bardstown, Kentucky. And in first place, Abraham Lincoln Birthplace National Historic Park, Hodgenville, Kentucky. Did you know our nation's first memorial to Abraham Lincoln on the site of his birth was built with donations from both young and old? For over a century, people from around the world have come to rural central Kentucky to honor the humble beginnings of our 16th president. His early life on Kentucky's frontier shaped his character and prepared him to lead the nation through the Civil War. And Heather, as KCTCS president, let me leave you with a quote from President Abraham Lincoln about what he had to say about education. He viewed it as, quote, as the most important subject which we as a people can be engaged in.
Nicely done, President Quarles. Well, let's go now to Bowling Green, where WBKO TV's AM Kentucky and midday anchor Isaac Calvert has our next Best in Kentucky category ready. Hi, Isaac.
Heather, it is great to be on Kentucky Living's Best in Kentucky Awards. Thanks to Warren RECC, we enjoy Kentucky Living here at WBKO News, and this is a great way to celebrate our beautiful state. Here's how Kentucky Living readers voted in the category Place for Adventure. In third place, Land Between the Lakes National Recreation Area in Golden Pond. In second place, Red River Gorge Geological Area in Stanton. And in first place, Mammoth Cave National Park right here in Mammoth Cave. You can do it all at Mammoth Cave National Park, whether it is camping, hiking, horseback riding, bicycling, canoeing, picnicking, wildlife viewing, stargazing, and of course, you can't forget those awesome cave tours. The park stretches almost 53,000 acres in the rolling hills of South Central Kentucky and includes river valleys, forests, historic churches and cemeteries, sinkholes, and the world's longest cave system. It is truly a place for adventure. And it's a Best in Kentucky winner. Heather, back to you.
6 more Best in Kentucky awards to announce. Anyone ready for a snack? Well, in years past, WDRB meteorologist Jude Redfield has announced Best Pizza and Best Bakery. Let's give him a more eclectic menu at some of Kentucky's great food trucks. Hey, Jude.
Heather, let's keep rolling with some good eating. Who doesn't love a food truck? The votes are in, and here's who Kentucky Living readers picked in the food truck category. Third place, Matilda's Dogs and More, Hodgenville. Second place, Maillard Wood Fired Chicken, Campbellsville. In first place, Juanito's Street Tacos and More, Radcliffe and Bardstown. Family owned and operated, Juanito's Street Tacos and More cooks up an authentic taste of Mexico with special recipe street tacos that are served on a double corn tortilla with a choice of meat and topped with cilantro, onion, and lime. Other flavor favorites, Acapulco chicken, Mexican bowls, burritos, tortas, and quesadillas. Yum, 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 yum. Heather, we'll see you in line. Back to you.
Jude, we'll see you there. Well, in this award season, let's take a moment to congratulate Kentucky Living editor Shannon Brock, winner of the Haggard Memorial Journalism Award, a national honor recognizing Kentucky Living as the top electric cooperative publication in 2023. Way to go, Shannon.
That's very kind, Heather. The Kentucky Living team is dedicated to telling the co-op story, and we know Kentucky co-ops are committed to the local communities they serve. These Best in Kentucky Awards are all about promoting everyone who helps make Kentucky a better place to live. Let's celebrate with a sweet treat. Here are the winners in the bakery category. Third place, Tipton's Traditions Bakery, Ashland. Second place, Haydorn's Bakery, Bardstown. First place, Sweet Sisters Sweets, Hodgenville. In our September issue, writer Kathy Witt says this is where your sweet tooth's quest for a decadence pays off with Sweet Sisters' luscious flavor pairings, like lemon velvet cake and raspberry swirl icing, cake pops piled into a cone like colorful scoops of ice cream, chocolate cream pies finished with flourishes of airy meringue, intricately designed and decorated custom cakes, and so much more. And speaking of Kentucky Living writers, it's my true honor every month to edit one of Kentucky's great writers. Byron Crawford is Kentucky's storyteller. His new book, The Back Page, is a collection of his Kentucky Living columns since he took over the Back Page column in 2011. Each month, Byron shares stories about Kentucky's rural people and places, and readers enjoy his unique gift for finding the little story within the big story, as he puts it. Congratulations on the book, Byron. We love you.
Thank you, boss. I appreciate it, and I appreciate Kentucky Living putting that collection of my stories into a book. It's been fun. Let's do it again sometime.
Let's do it.
Here are the Kentucky Living winners for Best Down Home Restaurant. Third place, Billy Ray's Restaurant, Prestonsburg. Second place, Kentucky's Finest Family Style Restaurant, Hodgenville. And first place, the Whistle Stop in Glendale. At this made-from-scratch country kitchen, one of the signature specialties is the Whistle Stop Burger, headlined with hand-sliced fried green tomato and double-dipped in buttermilk and the restaurant's homemade breading. But that's not all. The 8-ounce char-grilled burger is layered with onion rings, bacon, fried pickle, and cheddar cheese, and finished with a liberal dousing of secret sauce. Whistle Stop's 100-year-old building began as Glendale's grocery store, and it was later a hardware store, which added sandwiches. It got the name the Whistle Stop for the trains that pass by every day. And there's your little story within the big story. Heather, we'll send it back to you.
Byron, you are a treasure. Well, some 50 years after Byron began his feature reporting on WHAS-TV in Louisville, Claudia Coffey shares fun and lifestyle updates every weekday on WHAS-TV's Great Day Live. Claudia, welcome back to Best in Kentucky.
Thank you, Heather. We have a blast here every morning, and it is always a treat when you and the Kentucky Living crew pay us a visit. And what fun you have in giving me today one of the biggest announcements I can possibly think of. Who did Kentucky Living readers vote as the best in Kentucky bourbon? Third place goes to New Riff Distilling in Newport. Second place, Elijah Craig in Bardstown. And first place goes to Buffalo Trace Distillery in Frankfort. Complimentary tours welcome visitors from all around the world to learn the history and the science behind the making of the award-winning bourbon at Buffalo Trace Distillery. Named Visitor Attraction of the Year at the 2024 Icon of Whiskey Awards. Enjoy the alluring aroma and atmosphere of bourbon inside the aging warehouses as tour guides bring the story of Buffalo Trace to life. Now that's the reason to celebrate the best in Kentucky. Heather, back to you.
It's time for us to check back in with KET's News Quiz host, Kelsey Starks, with the answers to our special Kentucky Living News Quiz. Kelsey?
Well, Heather, we'll have those answers for you in just a moment. But first, I get to announce the winners in the category of camping or RV spot. In third place is Lincoln Lodge in Hodgenville. Coming in second place, Red River Gorge Geological Area in Stanton. And taking first place, Green River Lake State Park in Campbellsville. Family fun awaits at this state park with fishing, boating, skiing, and swimming in this amazing lake. Hiking, biking, horseback riding, all on 28 miles of trails, plus 18 holes of miniature golf. There's basketball, volleyball, and 4 playgrounds there for the little ones. The RV and primitive campsites are all located right on the shores of the beautiful Green River Lake. And now, without further ado, the answers to the Kentucky Living News Quiz. Question 1. When calcite replaced coal as the official state mineral this year, coal became the official state rock. Question 2. The last county to be established was McCreary County in southeastern Kentucky. The year was 1912. And question 3. Kentucky Living has the highest circulation of any publication in Kentucky. So how many households receive it each month? The answer? An average of 478,000 households. So let's go now to my friend who has all of the answers, the VP of Strategic Communications at Kentucky Electric Cooperatives, Joe Arnold.
Here are the best in Kentucky winners in the category of hamburger. In third place, B&N Food Market, Baghdad. In second place, Bardstown Burger, Bardstown. And in first place, Leahy's Red Castle right here in Hodgenville. Well, one would expect that a diner frying up burgers for 90 years would know a thing or two about enhancing the sizzle factor. Leahy's has this down pat with mouth-wateringly delicious, old-timey diner cheeseburgers made on a well-seasoned 1954 grill, studded with onions and dripping with melty cheese. Heather, as you can see, they're frying them up right now for you. We bring back a carryout for you in the studio. But before we do that, we want to be the first to congratulate you on the 25th anniversary of you becoming Miss America. It was, in fact, September 18th, 1999, 25 years ago, that Heather Renee French, now Heather French Henry, walked across that stage and really just dazzled all of Kentucky with that wonderful evening at Miss America. Congratulations on the big anniversary, but we also just want to thank you for your continued advocacy for veterans over all these years, for your grace, for your love of Kentucky, and we want to thank you for being a part of our Kentucky Living family. Heather, back to you.
Aw, thank you so much. Well, it certainly was a joy to be able to bring the crown home to the Commonwealth of Kentucky. Kentucky is certainly a special place to be raised and to raise a family. So from this Kentucky gal to all of Kentucky, thank you so much for accepting me into your hearts and your lives. Well, and you can watch a replay and read all about today's winners on KentuckyLiving.com. Please be sure to like us on Facebook and follow us on Twitter. Congratulations to all the finalists, and thanks to Kentucky Electric Cooperatives and Kentucky Living. Byron, we'll see you next year.
Thanks, Heather, and we'll see you on the back page. Thanks for watching.